And the award-winning, I might add, check this out, full page, award-winning Kim Baer. She won the USA Today. This is what, for the downtown?
Yeah, for downtown.
Yep.
Yeah.
How about that? So
Yeah.
the best law firm, which is real cool, but you're in another competition, right?
Yes, yes. Now it's the whole Des Moines area. So now we're competing again to see if we can take the whole thing.
All right, so USA Today. Find
Yes.
more information there. Okay,
Yeah.
just want to point that out. That was kind of
Well,
cool when you
thank
opened the
you.
paper and saw your
Yeah.
smiling face.
Yeah, well, thanks.
All right.
Thanks.
So what are we talking about today?
Well, I thought today we'd talk about nursing home claims. I don't know that we've ever talked about that before, and that is kind of a growing area, and it's something that we're seeing a lot in the office. And so I think it's good just to kind of educate people on things to watch for, and then also some places that you can look to do a little bit of research if you're trying to, find a good nursing home in Iowa.
Okay.
So, and one of the things I do want to say before we get into this is we have a lot of really great nursing homes, but there are some nursing homes out there that either have had some issues or because there's difficulty in finding good workers, sometimes they hire people they shouldn't hire or they don't get them trained correctly. And so we just want to make sure that we kind of educate people on what to look for. So when we get calls about claims, typically what we see is we get calls, someone's been dropped, so maybe you've got your mom or your dad in a nursing home and they're not able to get around very well, and so the nursing home has rules and regulations that they have to follow. There's state regulations, there's federal regulations, and then they also have their own internal guidelines. And usually what those guidelines say is, if you're going to move a patient from a bed to the bathroom or from a bed to a chair, you have to use, sometimes you have to use a gate belt, sometimes you have to use a Hoyer lift, sometimes you can't move them until you have two people there.
Okay.
And unfortunately, when we see these problems, what happens is somebody is either in a hurry, and so they don't wait for the other worker to come and they're trying to move them, or they didn't use the gate belt or they didn't use the Hoyer lift properly. And unfortunately, those types of claims, people get dropped, they hit their head, sometimes they go into a coma, sometimes they die from it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so those are those type of claims that we kind of see a lot of. So.
Wow, just something to keep in mind.
Something to keep in mind. The other thing, as we all know, if you're bedridden, the nursing homes need to keep an eye on pressure sores, and so we're always concerned about that. And pressure sores are something that you can get, and getting a pressure sore doesn't necessarily mean that you're getting bad care. But if you've developed one, then absolutely we want to make sure that the nursing home is doing what they're supposed to be doing, because a pressure sore can turn into gangrene. It can turn into a loss of a limb. Besides the fact that they're incredibly painful for the person. So we also get a lot of calls about pressure sores. And then the other thing that we see a lot of is medication errors, where either the wrong medication's given or medication that was prescribed by the doctor is not given. And so one of the things that we do when people call is we go ahead and get the records from the home. Typically we'll get the person's medical records too. And what we're looking for is, did they do something they weren't supposed to do, or was there something they were supposed to do that they didn't do?
Which would be negligence.
Which would then be negligence. And sometimes, so in nursing home claims we can have breach of contract, depending on what the contract said that they were going to do. We can have negligence, and we also can have failure to train workers properly, failure to oversee workers properly, and sometimes people get hired that have had past claims in nursing homes, and so the next nursing home should not be hiring them.
Now, would that be considered negligence there by not checking that out?
It's a type of negligence.
Okay.
It's called failure to train, and you also have a duty to investigate and properly hire people. Okay. So there's all sorts of different claims that we have kind of wrapped up in maybe one injury. So one of the things I wanted to talk to people about today is, if you are looking at nursing homes, or you've got someone in a nursing home and you're curious about, well, how does this nursing home rate? The state of Iowa has a department. It's called the Department of Inspection and Appeals. And when they get a complaint because someone has been hurt, they go out and do an investigation. And the results of those investigations are public. So you can get on that website and type in the name of the nursing home, and it'll pull up and it'll show you all of the past investigations. It'll give you a little summary of what happened, whether or not they've been fined. In some cases, there's been some investigations and everything they did was proper.
And they report that too.
And they report that too. And there are requirements that the nursing home self-report. So a lot of times the nursing home itself is self-reporting, but sometimes, you know, families are upset and so they'll call in. And so that's a great resource. And if you haven't looked on that, you should.
And what's the name of that again?
So if you type in, if you're doing a Google or Yahoo search, if you type in State of Iowa Department of Inspection and Appeals, it'll come right up. You'll see it's got a tab for nursing homes and for investigations and you know, and so when somebody comes into me and they've got a claim, one of the first things I do is I look to see, was this claim already investigated? So, and then if not, I also want to see, does this nursing home have a problem with this? So.
Right, and as the population is getting older, you need to consider all these things.
Yes, you absolutely do.
Well, it's unfortunate that we're having to talk about this and that you're seeing so much at the office, but it's also good to be aware.
Yeah, it's good to be aware.
To
yeah, and the other thing that people need to know is that these types of claims are, lawyers typically take that on contingency fee, so it's not going to cost you anything to look into it. So you don't have to pay the lawyer up front any money. Some lawyers will say, go get the medical records, so it might cost you, you know, $50 to get the records. But other than that,
which would be good to have anyway.
Which would be good to have, you know, and sometimes people just want the peace of mind. They want to know that the nursing home didn't do anything wrong and my mom or my dad is still in good care.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Makes sense.
So,
all right, if people want further information or maybe they want to look into a situation, where's the best place they can contact you?
So they can give me a call at 515-INJURED. We're right across the street from Vets Auditorium, and come on in and have a cup of coffee and we'll see if we can help them.
Perfect.
Okay. Wonderful. So. All right, we'll probably see you over at the Drake concert later on tonight. Right?
Oh, well, my daughter will be there.
Okay. All right, it is 7:49 right now. We will be right back, and when we return, it'll be time for Totally Serious News on CW Iowa Live.